I need to feel your energy today from start to finish.
Come on, let's go.
Let's crank this thing up. It get real ferocious, I'm trying to tell you.
Turn me up all day.
From the locker room to the broadcast booth, breaking news and the truth behind every take from a real NFL insider and television analyst.
Now get ready for the NFL show where the conversation gets real and the fans get a voice. It's time for the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here on ESPN Radio.
And that's football.
I gotta tell you, brother, it's hot.
Yeah. I got a taste of that when I was up there for the Ravens affiliation
for
day.
the Ravens.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
blazing.
man. It's ridiculously hot, and there's no getting around it. I mean, it is what it is. It's training camp. I mean, we knew this is what it was going to be like. But yesterday, it was brutal, man. You saw people trying to tap out, like, look, I got to go inside. Let me know what happens on the field. And then it rained, really bad up this way, last night. So it was very steamy today. It was cool early, but then it got hot. So, again, tomorrow's supposed to be even hotter, and it's probably going to be hot on the field because the Dolphins come to town for joint practices. And you and I both know from being competitors, being former players, these are the times where it's good to put your hands on somebody different from the guy that you've been going up against every day in practice, a friend of yours, a teammate of yours. I'm gonna put you on the spot here because I know you like the violence of football. What are the odds that we have 2 fights to break out tomorrow?
Yeah, you got to have a fight. I think it's mandatory, right? I mean, I'm being honest. Like, this is the first time we get to put hands on somebody, man. I don't have to hold back. This ain't my teammate, my captain. I ain't got to worry about seeing this guy the rest of the season. We not, back in college and things like that, we not roommates and none of that. So, yeah, I get to put my hands on somebody, man. Bruise them up, get rough. And it's competitive, right? You still have guys looking to establish themselves for roster spots. And then in some cases, the parallel, and it's probably going to be my keyword all day, but the parallel of the Dolphins and the Commanders, somebody got to set the tone, right? The Dolphins want to let people know they're not going to be a pushover. These are professional athletes with pride. The Commanders want to set the tone and let everybody know the hype is real, right? Like, what you see is what you get. We are going to be in your face. And we know Coach Quinn is hyper competitive. He breeds that, we practice how we play type mentality. So I expect it to be some physical confrontations. It don't have to get too crazy. Like, we ain't got to see people getting their helmets yanked off and things like that. But, somebody to get separated, especially when we have the one-on-ones or the units, when you have the defensive line going up against opposing offensive linemen. Yeah, I need to see something. Yeah. I need to see something.
So this is the thing. Does it get to a point where, like, if you're Durante Jones and you're Washington's defense, do you want to show a lot right now or do you not? Like, because obviously teams are going to start looking at tape, and you don't want to give the Cowboys, you don't want to give the Eagles, you don't want to give, the Seahawks, teams that you're going to play in your first 2-3 weeks of the season. You don't want to give them too much material because this is a new setup that no one has seen Washington run out on the field on both sides of the ball, not just Durante Jones on defense, but David Blau on the offense. So my question to you on this one is, do you show a lot? Do you show your hand right now to set the tone and get these guys feeling good about the systems that they're playing in?
I would think you would want to keep it as simple as possible from a concept standpoint. Yeah, you don't want to show anything, honestly. But what you want is for Miami or anybody watching to go back and say, yeah, this team's going to play fast. This team's going to hit hard. This team's going to be athletic, et cetera. Like, you want those buzzwords to spread around the league. Like, you want people to know, like, everything that pretty much we've thought was going to happen as far as, like, this team flying to the ball, guys playing physical and things like that. That's there. You want to see even the depth component, right? If you rotate guys out, you want to see some of these guys that they brought in to be the specialists. You want to see them win their matchups and things like that. So I would say the message to the team is very simple. Just win your battle in front of you, right? Like, keep it as simple as possible. We don't have to do anything exotic. It doesn't have to get that deep. I want to see you beat your guy, right? If you're the corner, I want to see you shut down the receiver. If you're the edge, I want to see you whip this tackle. I want to see him in the backfield, right? Like, those simple like fundamental components of what makes a good defense, I want to see that.
Well, I will say this. I feel really good about what we're going to see tomorrow, not just from the concept standpoint and plays and schemes, stuff like that, but who's going to be out there. Well, today, Terry McLaurin, Stephon Diggs, Ben Sinnott, Sam Cosmi, those guys weren't even out here. They got the day off. So Odafe Owe got the day off on the defensive side of the ball, Kaylavon Chasen, which tells me that they're going to get some work tomorrow. Normally, if you get a day off before a joint practice, doesn't that signal that you're going to get some work tomorrow against a different opponent?
Yeah, man, get these older guys some time off. I mean, they know what they need to do, right? And nothing makes you hungrier than being starved, right? You're going to come out, you're going to really want to pop pads because you didn't get to do it today, right? You're going to have an itch tomorrow. I think that's a good strategy. And the names that you named are some of the guys that I expect to be those proverbial tone setters, right? I expect to see Terry showing. I expect to see Diggs showing. I expect to see Odafe showing as well because his name has been coming up a lot from people who've been watching in the practices and things like that. So I think
looks good.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to basically kind of tease him a little bit. Yeah, you get the day off, but I got to see something tomorrow. And then tomorrow, for some reason they come out a little flat, you can tease them a little bit more. Like, hey, you had the day off, you got lazy, right? You got fat and happy. And so I can see that being a good strategical thing for the coaches.
Folks, right now I am here. We're live here at Commander Spark at the Big Bear AI Performance Center for training camp. We still have another 2.5 weeks of this. So Thursday, though, I'll be back in studio, unless Alan has something he has to do because, we got busy schedules this time of year, folks, as NFL media. But unless Alan is gone, we will be back in studio like Peaches and Herb reunited. That I kind of dated myself. You probably don't know what that is, Alan. But, yeah, that was a popular song. Look that song up from the 70s.
I have to look it up.
Yeah, we'll be back in studio. I will say, though, we haven't talked about the acquisition of Stephon Diggs. Obviously Washington brought him in to help Terry. And you take the pressure off of Terry to not have to be a one-man gang. When you found out, when we broke that he was going to be there, was it a surprise to you, or did you also maybe look at the other guy, Brandon Ayuk, and say, you know what, maybe you were supposed to be Stephon Diggs right now, but you kind of talked your way out of having a golden opportunity. So what was your reaction when Stephon was signed?
So Jack did a great job on Fits the Bill of making a case for Stephon Diggs prior to the acquisition. In fact, he cut a promo. We were talking about it, and I called Stephon Diggs a seatbelt, right? He's a good, like if the Commanders are a car and Jaden is the driver, then Diggs would come in and be the seatbelt. And it's not a knock on him. It's just we're looking at where he is in his career and the production you can get out of him, and he's reliable. He's definitely an asset. So I was happy to see them make a move that I think is the right move. Like, going Ayuk is too risky. And again, we already know how I feel about him being a knucklehead in general. I think this is a safe, good move. And the history of Stephon Diggs with a young quarterback is so rich in production for both Diggs and the quarterback. I'm excited to see him and Terry, and more excited for Terry because he's been there for so long. He finally has a good quarterback. He finally has a legitimate wide receiver too. This is, to me, a big acquisition that could pay dividends in wins, not just in production, but overall results of the season. I think Diggs is going to help them a lot.
You know what I've noticed, though, Alan? Like, out here seeing him running his routes and getting open, he knows how to get open. That's
smooth,
what he does.
Man. He's really smooth. He doesn't look it, but he's very, very smooth.
Yeah, and the thing that you can see, he's got his legs back. Remember last year, even though he had those 85 catches on New England's team that went to the Super Bowl, he was coming off a knee injury, so he was like in year 1 or 2 of that. So it takes like 2 years to really get your legs back under them. I'm telling you, man, he's breaking hard out of routes, and he's just looking smooth again. Like, I don't feel like they got a shell of a player. they got a really good football player that's going to really complement Terry on the other side. And as Stephon said out of his own mouth in his introductory presser, literally right when I asked him as far as, being here with these guys and what he sees out of this receiver room, he was like, look, he said, I know I said that, at this point in my career, I would be the best number 2 in the league. He said, but you know what I meant. He said, I'm saying, like, I still think I'm a number 1, but obviously here with Terry, he knows that his role is going to be as, I don't even want to say a number 2. I'm going to say a 1B. Is that more sufficient? Do you think that he could be a 1B as opposed to just a sheer 2?
Yeah, because, you've got a guy who's been a predominantly wide receiver 1 anyway, and if he's still got his legs and he's still productive, he's not somebody you're going to look off, right? Like if you're a defense, you're going to plan to have coverages over both of these guys, and if you go, more leaning towards Terry, like we want to focus more on Terry, stopping Terry, I think you'll find that Stephon Diggs definitely still has wide receiver 1 production in him, and I think that's why you would call him a 1B, because in the event that happens, you expect him to pick up the production without a doubt, right? Like, this is why he's here. He's here to be productive. He's here to not just compliment, but at times he's going to have to lead.
Got to. You know who else is stepping up big time is Luke McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey, man, is having a hell of a training camp. And the depth chart, unofficial, he's number 3. He's put himself, not just, how there were a lot of people out there saying Luke may not make the team, and I'm like, stop it. First of all, there's no shot that they're not going to keep a guy they drafted, a guy that they knew when they drafted was a converted quarterback in college. Yeah. You knew it was going to take time, and he's got that pedigree, that McCaffrey, lineage. There was no way they were going to move on from him. Well, Allen, you're going to love what I'm about to say. You're getting the angry version of Luke McCaffrey now. You're getting the Darth Vader. Yeah, you're getting the you are my son, Luke. You're getting that version of Luke now. He put hands on Mikey Sanderstill the other day, and Mikey was chirping, and Luke grabbed that face mask, and they was on it. And
that's great.
Guess who else ran in to help Luke was Antonio Williams. So it was like the new pups was like, hey, man, I don't know if you know about me, but I did work back in college. I know it's the pros, but you're gonna still get it too. And Mikey, I don't want to say he's struggling out here, but they've been giving him the business, all of them. Everybody been lining up, taking turns, beating him on the field. And do I want to say I'm alarmed? I'm not alarmed because Mikey's a competitor, and one-on-one drills and these things, it's not set up for the D-backs to win.
Yeah.
It's just not. Devontae Jones said that today in his press conference. It's not set up for the D-backs. But what it is set up for the D-backs is to get your skills down, get your technique down. He said he doesn't want to see guys being grabby. He wants to see their footwork, the proper footwork. And Mikey, he's struggling with it. There's no other way to get around it. I'm going to say this right now. The saving grace for Mikey right now is that Trey Amos keeps getting hurt.
Yeah.
And Trey Amos is not practicing, didn't practice today, is not, going to be at the joint practices tomorrow as far as not out on the field participating, and he's not playing in Friday's preseason opener against the Dolphins on Friday. So that's putting Mikey out on the field even more. But if Trey is healthy, because the day that he did come back and practice, the 2 days, he looked really good. And I mean, not a little bit. He looked really good, Allen, so much to the point where I said it. Their starting cornerbacks are going to be Trey Amos, Rasul Douglas on the other side, and Amik Robertson, who looks really good in the slot. And Mikey's going to be the fourth corner, which kind of put him in that wild card role that he played at Michigan.
Yeah, I think Amos is a true corner, man. Like, I want him on the outside.
Number 1.
Yeah, like, even coming out of college, I've always liked his game, his versatility. Physically, he's not afraid, which we saw with Scadaboo, to put his head in there, no matter how big the back is. So you're going to get a tackling corner, or at least effort. And he definitely has great ball skills. Rasul Douglas, I think a lot of people not familiar with his game probably thought it was just kind of like a throwaway roster fill spot, but like he's a really productive guy, especially the last couple of years. Last year, especially with Miami, I believe, was one of the more productive corners on that team. And so you slot these productive guys in, and you look at Mikey. I think Mikey's in his head, man. I really do. I think Mikey is trying too hard, and by trying too hard, he's just missing out on the little things. And I like that Durante is pointing out, like, footwork is very important for the corners, because in today's game, the grabby corners who are not, your elite corners will be flagged for pass interference or illegal hands or whatever else they call nowadays. For these 5-yard penalties that end up in first downs and things like that. So you want to be in position. And I got to say, these guys are all human. I know Luke and these young guys are online and around people. Man, Mikey's the odd man out here, man. Trey's talking trash, Rasul Douglas talking trash, or whoever else is talking trash, that's fine. Mikey's fresh meat. Right? Like, I'm not taking anything off of him. Like, let's be honest. Like, we're in a competitive atmosphere. You're the guy that everybody wants to line up against and look good against. I'm not going to let you punk me, right? Because in the wide receiver room, we're probably talking about you a little bit, right? You got to get your numbers on Mikey. He's struggling, right? So it's one of those things he's got to figure it out up top. And then once he gets his mental back together, we might see him rebound. But right now, I just think he's a player that's trying too hard, which some people might think doesn't make sense. But if you get what I'm saying, like, you can be a head case and it affects your production.
No, I agree with you 100%, and I do. I think that is exactly the case. And I also think there's another little layer to it. I think he's so close with Jaden now. Sometimes you think you're the company you keep. Normally, we are the company we keep in this world. Jaden's a superstar. You're not. And I'm not being mean about that, because Mikey and me, we cool. We mad cool with each other. But you got to know your place sometimes. You got to know your role. And you're not going to get the same treatment that Jaden gets. You're not going to get the same love from the fans that Jaden gets. Jaden has forgivable offenses, like last year is a forgivable offense if you are a fan of Jaden Daniels, because the game, sometimes you get injured. That's what happens. All the greats have been injured at some point. So people can forgive him for that, but it's not like when he was on the field playing, he was bad. He still looked good. But when you're a cornerback and you're getting beat, it's going to stand out. It's going to just jump off the charts and jump off the video, off the TV screen that you're bad. And there was a play particularly last week. I got to tell you, man, Luke routed him up to the point where Mikey wasn't in my video frame anymore when I was filming it. He was out of the frame. And I'm like, wow, man, you can't get beat like that. But then again, maybe that's a testament to Luke stepping his game up even more, or it's probably more or less a combination of both.
Well, I think Luke is a perfect example of less is more. If you can get him in a role where he's not your main guy, from wide receiver 3 on down, you're going to get production out of him. I pointed that out to Jack as well, that like his best tenure with the Commanders was when you guys had other options, and then he would slide in, run a wheel route or something like that, do something like kind of off-centered, and he's further down the progression ladder, and he gets spotted, then he makes a play. As long as he's not your wide receiver 2, I think you'll be fine. You'll get a lot out of him, and that's not because of his inability. That's because you're still working with a pretty green wide receiver, man. Like, he's learning on the fly, which is incredible that he's gotten this far, and you're talking about him in the manner that you're talking about him, because he just learned the position like 3 years ago, right? 3-4 years
Literally.
ago? Yeah. So, and he's a professional wide receiver. It doesn't matter what his dad did. We know what his dad was, but he was playing quarterback, if I recall, at Rice, and then he switched to wide receiver like his last year or something like that. I talked to him at the Senior Bowl about it as well, and he had joked, his dad and brother are the athletes in the family. He's just the guy that loves football, which I thought was him just being, humble. But it's good to hear that he's got some fire in him, because that'll carry him a long way.
I got to ask Luke, did he play some ball back in the day? Did he play basketball? Because he seemed like one of them dudes that would just come to the court and light you up.
They're all world athletes. I would imagine they've done.
The mom was an Olympian.
Yeah, I would imagine they've done every single sport and excelled at every single thing. NFL dad, Olympian mother. Like when we used to make players on Madden, those were the 5 stars.
Yeah. And then speaking of Madden, I want to talk to you about something a little bit later on in the show, about Madden, and something that I discovered that may surprise you, Alan, but that's going to have to be after we come back and have our next guest on. So, folks, You're listening to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. I'm live right now from Commander's Park at the Big Bear AI Performance Center. We'll be doing this off and on over the next 2 weeks, so I'm sure some of you are like, I want the studio sound. Well, guess what? You're going to get that on Thursday because I'll be back live in studio with Alan, so you'll be able to get us in that fold. But until then, this is cool. We're out here on the field at Commander's Park, and when we come back, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to have a good friend of mine on who does an awesome job up in the D.C. area on Fox Channel 5, and I'm talking about Chad Ricardo. So he's going to join me here from Commander's Park when we come back from break. So you're listening to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show right here on ESPN Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Appreciate you joining us. And as promised, I advertised a little bit earlier that I was going to bring a good friend of mine who's doing some great things in the Washington, D.C. area. And we're talking about none other than Chad Ricardo, Fox 5 in D.C.
That's right.
My guy. I've seen this guy come up. I've seen his rise. And I can safely tell you guys this, even nicer person in person and once you get to know him, and he's a big fan favorite. So I see you a lot of times out here, just out in the crowd.
Sure.
Even more so sometimes in practice.
That's right.
How much of that is just something that you knew that you were going to get to this level that you wanted to give back to the fans?
Wow, that's a hell of a question to start off with. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here. Everything that you're doing on this platform, this is amazing, the way that you are servicing the community. So thank you for giving me a moment of your time here on the show. This is a people business, bro. 100%. This is a people business, and it is our honor to be able to serve the community. That's the way that I look at it. I had someone call me their favorite reporter here today. I said, wait, don't use that word with me. Don't use that word with me. I am a man of the people. Right. It is my job. It's my duty. It is my honor to be able to serve the community. So when we have an opportunity to be with the fans, to be with these people, especially those that bleed this burgundy and gold, who have loved this franchise oftentimes since the day that they were born, it was passed down through the generations. Just to have an opportunity to be with these individuals and to share in these moments with them, it's everything that I ever dreamt of, and so I'm blessed to be able to be walking in those dreams.
And it's good too because the organization has changed. We remember the dark days, so to speak.
Right. Yes.
Well, it's not like that now.
Sure.
And we're getting treated better.
Yes.
I mean, they treat the fans better. We see fans out here for training camp.
That's right.
This is odd in a spec because a lot of times over the years, you might see the fans a couple days.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're here every day now.
Yeah, man.
And they're excited about it.
I mean, we're going on, round about 6 consecutive days in which the fans have been here, in which it has been open practices to the fans. And we are seeing thousands of individuals time in and time out here, shoulder to shoulder with it. And we get here early. Well, you get here earlier than I do, but
Well, I get here at like 6:30 in the morning, and guess what? There's a line.
Come on.
Literally a couple hundred feet all the way down the driveway. That's how rabid these fans are, and they want something positive to cheer for.
Yes, and it means so much to them to be able to be out here and to get a glimpse of a Jaden Daniels, to get a glimpse of a Terry McLaurin, now to get a glimpse of Stephon Diggs. It means so much to them, so that when we can see that passion and we can see that appreciation in their faces, number one, it reminds you the beauty that it is to be a Washington Commanders fan. But number two, again, it gives us that much more gas to be able to go out here and do the best that we can to deliver the stories that they want to hear about.
Folks, right now I'm joined by Chad Ricardo from Fox Channel 5 up in the Washington, D.C. area. If you're in your cars right now, remember, make sure you drive safely, keep both hands on the wheel.
That's right.
And then also you can watch this on YouTube as well, and you can see my guy right here is jacked up. So I'm getting there.
You getting there, Lake Lewis? Come on now.
I'm getting there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's part of it. And I wanted to talk to you about that today. We're going to talk football here in a second, folks. But the nutrition side of what we do.
Yes.
Being on television, being on air, you got to look the part. You feel the part, you got to look the part. So it's not just those guys out on that field.
Right. Yeah. you should look the part. There's a lot of people who don't. No offense to anybody. There's a lot of people who don't look the part. But like, I think that you should look the part. Like, look, we're having a conversation right now about being a professional, and if you have these lofty goals, and if you want to get to somewhere that you want to be, of course, you know, everybody says that you dress for the role that you want, not the one that you have. Well, for us, a part of that in our profession, a part of that dress is the physical appearance. Yeah. And as much as I love being right here at Fox 5 DC, and you know, I mean, I've got large aspirations. Many of those aspirations I'm living right now. But if we want to be here on ESPN Radio and watching this stream on YouTube and forever and beyond where it is that we're going, looking the right way is important as well. So that's nutrition, that's working out right, that's taking care of your body, taking care of your soul, so that you can be the best for the people.
And it looks good too.
Well done.
You know, what I'm saying? It looks good when you can look in camera and say, you know what, that's me.
That's Lake Lewis right there.
What? Yeah. When you're in the gym, you're not thinking that way. You're like, I just can't wait to get through this workout. So now all this stuff is playing a part here. So let's talk about what all the fans came to listen to. This team on the field. Woo! Now, it was naturally a big injury the other day to Laramie Tunsil. And some fans were already getting ready to go in the tank. And we're not doing that anymore. This isn't the old days. We don't do that anymore.
Sure.
And today on your outlet, we talked about Brandon Coleman stepping in there. Brandon's looking really good.
Brandon Coleman is looking good, and for anyone who forgot, I mean, this Brandon Coleman young man, I mean, he's got all of the size, he's got all of the physical tools, he has the hard work, he has the dedication, the determination, and the character as well. A young man who played a starring role for this team some 2 years ago in the midst of their NFC Championship run. We've seen him solidify that left tackle role, taking care of Jaden Daniels' blind side. So now 2 years later, he's stronger, he's more mature, he's more grown. Like, I don't have any doubt that he will be able to go out there and be more than a serviceable young man and someone who can grow. Now, again, we talked about this on my show a little bit earlier. It's not that we're telling you people that he's going to go out there on day one and be like Laramie Tunsil. Right. That's not what we're saying. But for anyone who thought about jumping ship, stay on the ship. For anybody who thought about getting off of the bandwagon, well, if you're a bandwagon rider, go ahead and jump off if you want to. But for anybody who's driving the bus, keep it en route, because Brandon Coleman should be able to solidify this left tackle position and keep this thing afloat.
Yeah, and we mentioned as well, if you were worried about Brandon Coleman, and again, as Chad said, this guy was the starting left tackle for this team in the NFC Championship game.
That's right.
Not Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil wasn't even on the team.
That's
yet.
right.
But if you were worried about Brandon Coleman, they probably would have shuffled some things around on the line.
Yes.
And Dan Quinn said no. When I asked him specifically, was there any thought of putting Josh Connolly Jr. over there at left tackle, because he was an All-American at Oregon and was a first-round draft pick? No. He said no. We're going to keep him entrenched at right tackle where he's growing and learning, and we think, both of us, he could have a Pro Bowl caliber season this year. That tells you what they feel about Brandon Coleman. And I'm going to say this, not just for 1 year, but maybe as the heir apparent to Laramie Tunsil.
I mean, certainly a more cost-efficient option for right now. For right now, still a young man. And again, just the ability to be able to build with these two bookends, if we ever get to that space right there. If you've got a Brandon Coleman and he comes out here and he shows that he is capable to do what it is that we believe that he can do, not only will he earn himself a very large payday down the road, but also you got two young guys, a second and third year player, being bookends on this offensive line. If you've got that, you can build the rest, and it can be cost effective, and it can be great for this team and organization.
So, you know, just a week ago, before Steph Diggs.
That's right.
And before Laramie, there was a lot of, I guess I can say outside of the DMV.
Sure.
There was a lot of skepticism about this team.
Yes.
People were very cynical, like, this team's not going to be good. I ask you this because have people forgotten about number 5 on this team? Was last year that bad that they really forgot what happened the year before, where it was historical, what he did in his rookie campaign? He probably had the most historical rookie campaign for a quarterback ever.
That's right.
So was that enough to make you kind of overlook some of the deficiencies of last year? Basically the injuries.
Here's what I think. I think the national media, when you don't have boots on the ground, when you're not here, I think that it's easy to forget. You know, shout out to your Stephen A. Smiths and to everyone else. But when you only see highlights, when that's all that you see, and so last year was full of lowlights for this team, for this entire organization. So when you aren't actually here in Ashburn at these practices like Lake Lewis is each and every day checking out the team, when you don't have that, it's easy to forget. And so you take one good year, one bad year, you put it in the middle, you say that he's a middle-of-the-road quarterback. But what it is that we've seen from Jayden Daniels here thus far this training camp is that he is going to be someone who is here to remind folks out there. The young man physically, we talk about the conditioning that you and I are trying to get into. Well, Jayden Daniels looks absolutely phenomenal out there. Looks phenomenal physically. His leadership quotient, you can see that he is becoming more and more of a leader as one of his goals out there. And now with the command of David Blau's offense that he's beginning to get, he's going to be under center. He's going to be turning his back to the defense, going play action out here, getting the ball out of his hands quickly and utilizing his weapons. Jayden Daniels, if you did forget, you'll remember soon.
You just said something though, Chad. You said weapons.
Yeah, come on.
2024, historical all-time quarterback season for a rookie. With who outside of Terry?
Outside of Terry, you had Zach Ertz out there making the plays that counted.
You had Zach. Okay.
Zach made the plays that counted.
So outside of Zach and Terry, who?
Yeah, hell if I know.
That's what I'm saying.
I damn near don't remember who else was out here at that point in time.
It was. You could make an argument that it was. You know, I can't say the four tops because I'm trying to look for a fourth. You had Jayden, Terry, Zach.
Listen, I don't want to be disrespectful right now, so so for everybody out there,
we have to see
it's not my goal to be disrespectful, but even coming into last year, we were looking at Noah Brown. All love and respect, Noah, but we were looking at Noah Brown like he was a quality number 2, and Noah Brown, good young man. But
come on now. I mean, you can say it.
Much love for Noah Brown. But Noah Brown should not be your number 2.
Listen.
Noah Brown should not be your number 2 wide receiver when you've got a team with playoff aspirations. I love you, Noah Brown, and I'm sorry.
He's not here.
I know, but he might be listening. It's your show, Lake Lewis. He might be, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but that shouldn't be your number 2 wide receiver.
And so, again, I say to people all the time, when they discount what that team did. That was a magical run. They had the Hail Mary and, you know, everything just
caught by Noah Brown. See that, Noah Brown? Bring that back around.
Yes, there you go. You'll forever be entrenched in history here.
Yes.
But you know, they did that and they didn't have the talent that we're seeing now.
Sure.
This roster right now on paper, if they had a game on paper from 2024 to this roster right now, this roster should beat the stuffing out of that roster.
Should beat it by double digits right here. I mean, exactly. I was thinking about this the other day. I was considering this, and I think that we would be hard-pressed to point to a room on this team, any position group out here, and say that it was not markedly improved even from last year to this year. Just about every room. Just about every room is better this year than it was last year, and to that point, better than it was 2 years ago. This Washington Commanders team and organization, not only Dan Quinn, not only Adam Peters, but all of the executives, all of the ownership, everything is on an upward trajectory right now. And Lake, it feels like that is something that's going to be sustainable. So if you are bleeding burgundy and gold, you should feel good right now.
Yeah, you look at this division, and the division's going to be much tougher.
Yeah.
But we've heard over, I don't know, since I was a young man, we've heard the Cowboys. It's their year. It's their year. We're hearing it now. Again, this year, it's the Cowboys' year. They have the most talent. Until I see them get over the hump, you know, they're just another team to me. Washington, from what I will say to people, everything boils down to quarterback play. That's why they weren't in the mix last year, because Jayden missed 10 games.
Correct.
If Jayden Daniels were to play, Chad, 17 games, let's just call it. We say he plays 17 games. Are you hard-pressed to think that this team is not going to be a threat to someone if we play 17 games?
I agree. Coming into the season prior to the addition of a Stephon Diggs, because the schedule is hard, and the schedule does matter. Those
it's
first
the
6
NFL,
games.
Every schedule's tough.
I know. Lake and I, we talked about it. I didn't post. Listen, I'll tell you this on your show here. Lake and I, we were talking the other day. I did not post to social media. Lake Lewis has gone on record, or did go on record, saying that the Commanders were going to win the first 2 games. Now, later on that day, we heard that Laramie Tunsil was injured. I didn't want to put that out there because I didn't know whether your analysis had changed. So I didn't want nobody to cook you.
Still.
There we go. Well, I'm putting the clip up. Those first 6 games is murderer's row. So I do believe that Washington has to have a goal of coming out of those first 6 at 3-3. 3-3 there. Yep. And if they're able to do that, then this is a team that I certainly see winning over 10 games this year. Once you get into that big dance, who knows how far you can go.
Like I tell everyone, the schedule that Washington has, the Eagles have it, the Cowboys have it, the Giants have it. So they're playing familiar foes outside of themselves. So if you think Washington's going to struggle with that team, last time I looked up, the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs last year.
Very true, yeah.
Last time I looked up, Giants weren't in the playoffs.
Giants haven't made the playoffs in a very long time, yeah.
And last time I looked up, the Eagles were starting to look in shambles as their season unraveled at the end.
The Eagles, this feels like the year that they're going to regress here.
Yeah,
everybody in the NFC East has been waiting for it. This feels like the year that it finally happens and they start taking a step back.
Yeah, I've said this before. If you want to win the NFC East, this is the year to get it done.
Come on now.
Whether you're the Giants, whether you're Cowboys, whether you're the Commanders, this is the year to knock the Eagles off their perch. I'm not going to say it's going to happen because I still think the Eagles are a strong organization. They've got a really good quarterback. I don't care what anyone says.
That's right.
Jalen Hurts is a winner.
That's right.
And that's the name of the game. Win games.
Put that W in the column,
That's it. And that's what he does.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't have one of his main weapons anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And, so A.J. Brown leaving is a big, big blow for them. Wasn't working. We'll see how that works out. Sean Mannion comes in, new offensive coordinator, is going to ask Jalen Hurts to do things that he's never been able to do, at least not at this portion of his career. So it's a wide open division for me. So I think that the Commanders have every opportunity to win this division without Laramie Tunsil.
Sure.
I think that they have every opportunity to have a much better defensive unit with Devontae Jones.
Yes.
I think their offense is going to look more prolific and more modern.
That's right.
Which will help Jaden Daniels' skill set. But more importantly, they have weapons for Jaden Daniels now. Yeah. So we can't, if it doesn't get done now.
That's right.
We gotta eat some crow here.
For the first time. If it doesn't get done, then you got to say, well, where's the progression here? Where's the getting better? And I don't think any of us who have been out here, who have been watching 5 out there on the football field, I don't think that any of us don't imagine that he is going to have a damn good, if not prolific season out here and get this done. But there is some, if you want to call it, pressure there. Now that you got the pieces in place, you got to go out there and produce.
Chad Ricardo, my guy, man.
Yeah, man.
This is what I'm talking about, folks. If you want to see the most energetic, down-to-earth person, make sure you check out Chad on Fox Channel 5 in the D.C. area. You've been doing the show, from here. How can people check that out, too?
The show every day from training camp. We're doing training camp live. You can stream that on Fox Local, so that's on your television. It's on your phone as well. So down there in the Richmond area or anywhere in the nation, you can check that out. And like Lake Lewis said, also on your smart TVs, Fox 5 DC, you can pick that up wherever you are as well.
Man, appreciate you coming on,
Thank you, my brother.
As
I appreciate
always.
you.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we still have another 40 minutes left for you right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. You're listening to ESPN Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to a hot... Right, and I see what Alan did there. He had to throw it back in my face. Yeah, it's hot.
Look, I gotta say,
really hot out here.
It's not gonna be too often where I can look at both our situations and be like, I got it better than Lake. But brother, I'm in AC. I got my hoodie on. It's probably about 65 degrees in the studio right now.
See, you're gonna really do that right now. You're gonna
great.
really do that. it's so hot out here, my cheeks are burning, and I don't mean the backside. I'm talking about on my face. Like seriously, my cheeks were on fire, so I had to come up out of the sun and sit up under like the canopy a little bit. And of course, they turned the power off, so I would have the doors open so you could feel the air conditioning blowing out here. Nah, man, it's just hot. It's just one of those days, man.
I'll take
and we've been relatively
victory.
Fortunate. But you know what, though, Alan? We've been relatively fortunate, though, because the weather hasn't been that bad, but it's just been like the last couple days. It's like, August is like, did you forget about me? You thought you were going to get out of this one? No, bro. It's on
funny.
us now.
You get hit with the rain overnight, and then you get the hot, humid mornings, and that's where it really stinks. Yeah.
Just that stickiness, you know what I'm saying? And now them little bugs, I don't know what they call, but they look like flying strawberries. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
They're everywhere up here. I mean, everywhere. Sometimes you like pulling them off of you. So I'm like, I already saw one walking near me over here, but if it gets too close to the equipment, you're gonna get stepped on. So I'm
Dolphins,
sorry. I'm not.
I was gonna say Dolphins would be right at home then.
Man, they practicing this kind of
Yeah,
stuff. And the word is it might rain tomorrow.
See, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, they're coming up. It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky. Like, this is like right up their alley. Not the bugs, ladies and gentlemen, but the weather itself is like right up their alley.
So you come on with some Nelly. To rub it in my face. Okay, I'm gonna remember that. And you know how I complained about how cold it is back in the studio.
Yeah.
I'll never complain again.
Yeah.
It's just like about 2 months ago. Well, no, it wasn't 2 months ago. Remember when we had that heat wave that came through Richmond? It was over 100 for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
You remember my air conditioner went out at the house, and Janine and me, we went to sleep and woke up, and it was like the thermostat in the house said 95 degrees. Literally, it was unbearable. Well, they came and fixed the compressor or whatever. They fixed it in the air conditioner the next morning, but I used to always complain about how cold she kept the house. And I'm like, babe, it's like Antarctica up in the house. I'll never complain anymore. I'm like, you know what? If it gets too cold, I'll just get a hoodie like we do in the studio. But when you're hot like this, you just got to bear it out, man. You just got to ride it out. So, well, look, one of the things that I wanted to go over with you before we close today's show out was so, on Madden, you know how you can change the uniforms and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
I might have a new look for the Commanders, man, that nobody has ever talked about, a combination that it looked damn good. And it was the burgundy pants, the black jerseys, their Hellraisers jerseys, and the black helmet or either the burgundy helmet. It looked smooth, man. It looked like, I don't want to say it looked like South Carolina Gamecocks a little bit, but I mean it did. It was a look that you would have never expected to see from the Commanders. Is that something that you could get on, or no way, no how would you even entertain that?
I'm leaning more to.
I already know.
No, because I'm looking at. I had to pull up the Hellraisers just so I could remember like the pattern itself. If you've got burgundy pants, I think you need a burgundy helmet because their outfit looks like black helmet and black pants, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're going to go burgundy, I would go with the burgundy helmet too.
Okay, so you could do burgundy helmet, burgundy pants, and the black Hellraiser jersey.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. If I could paint the picture in my head, or if you could take a screenshot of your uniform on the game and send it. Yeah. That sounds like a future contest somebody's going to probably do. Like, hey, for fans, like come up with the color pattern for the new jersey or something like that.
I mean, you have all of the scenarios, like all these different variables. Well, first of all, I hate combinations anyway. I think it sucks because when you go to a school like mine, historical, uniforms that are just super clean, no names on the jerseys, none of that, no emblem on the helmet. I'm used to that. That's what I want to see. I'm not a fan of, all these schools out there, especially in college where they get like all these different combinations and you do that because you're losing games, so you got to kind of mix it up for your recruits. Well, that's not true because Oregon does it better than anybody, and they're a national championship contender almost year in and year out. They still haven't won one, but they're close. So yeah, you're from the school of you like all those combinations. If you were a recruit, you would love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I want to. I mean, especially nowadays, you look good, you play good, right? You feel good and all that stuff. Like these, like people, brand recognition is so important. Now, the NFL doesn't necessarily need that for recruiting, but just from a national perspective, like the brand recognition of the Washington Commanders needs to be as iconic as possible for any NFL team. Honestly, you need that to be as iconic as possible. You also got to think about how the NFL is looking to expand overseas. So having cool logos, cool brands, cool color combinations, and things like that will go a long way because they're like soccer leagues over there. They have plenty of kits that have different color combinations and things like that, and people get behind that.
So would you say the game in London, and here's one of those bugs, literally. I was about to step on it. You might hear a crunch on the air. But, I mean, would you say when we go over to London for the game against the Colts week 4, would that be a game you would want to break out some kind of combination, or do you want your traditional duds, so to speak, garb, because that's the way you want a new fan base in Europe to see you in your old garb?
I would always want the new fan base to recognize me in my traditional stuff, since I would probably wear that more often than not. I wouldn't want you remember the Color Rush jerseys that they used to wear on Thursday nights and stuff? I wouldn't wear anything like that, but like the iconic burgundy and gold would be something I would want to push, or the white with the burgundy and gold would be something I would want to push if I was the Commanders. Just, again, for brand recognition and wanting people to put those jerseys on and buy those jerseys and kind of Christmas presents and all that stuff. You want things to stand out a little bit.
So, like, let me ask you, with you being a Niners guy, did you like when they changed the uniform where they had the white pants, that they were wearing when, I guess it was like the Steve Young era when they were winning Super Bowls with Steve Young? And they went away from those gold pants. Did you like that, or were you like, nah, we got to get back to the gold pants?
So I was obviously younger at the time, but it became a thing for me, right? Like when I see the white on white, I instantly think Steve Young. Like that's the problem of my Niners fandom. I love it. In fact, I've got a Super Bowl commemorative Niners jersey that's Jerry Rice for my son, and I mean, obviously didn't work because he's a Eagles fan, but it looks cool. And even he likes that it looks clean. White is clean. And so when I think of like the finesse that Niners team was, they were cool, man. Like Dion and Jerry and Steve Young, like it just all kind of blends to me. And I do enjoy that. Now, when they pull them out occasionally, in the Monday night games, it's not quite the same because it's not the same iconic players. But they became symbolic with that. So in the same sense, the Hellraiser uniform, this is all new, right? The black on black. Jaden has moments in that. He's going to become iconic with that particular jersey or with that particular jersey combination. Then maybe you could look into doing something where you go overseas and you want to wear it just because it's an iconic idea. Like when I think of the traditional Commanders or the Redskins uniforms, I think of like the Hogs and people like that, the iconic Joe Theismann, the icons in those uniforms. The players, to me, make the uniforms, not the uniforms making the players, if that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That sounds like you like an old soul speaking, so to speak, because, I was expecting with you being a little younger, you wouldn't see it that way, but that's good. I'm cool with that. But you're still not a traditional jersey guy.
No, I'm not. I know what you were describing with Penn State. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I want my names on the back of the jersey and stuff like that. I love that Oregon's got a different jersey for any time of the day or year, whatever. Man, they probably just pull out a closet with a Rolodex of jerseys, spin the wheel. That's what we'll wear.
I'll say this. Yes, I'm going to give Maryland some credit. University of Maryland.
Yeah.
University of Maryland and Oregon, to me, had the two best helmets I've ever seen in my life. And for Oregon, it's the chrome helmet. It's sick. The one they wear in the Rose Bowl sometimes. Yeah. That chrome helmet looks like a mirror. It's incredible. And I think, they got away from that from what I heard, and I don't know if it's true or how true it is, but I think the reflection of it was so strong that it was giving people problems on the field. Like you know how you get that glare off a mirror in your eye type thing? Well, it was a bunch of them. It was 100 and something of them out there on the field, and it was causing problems. That's what I was told. And I don't know how true that is because they still wear it, but now they have like a they have an emblem on that chrome helmet, so it's not just all chrome. And in Maryland, when they put the flag on their helmet, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, even from being from DMV, I loved it. I thought that was hot. I'm not a Maryland guy. Nick Cross and me had a little something the other day about that too, because he kind of threw some shade on Penn State, and I'm like, listen, man, they always talk about you when they can't beat you, so that's where we were. So look, man, this was a good one, and I apologize to our listeners. If you hear all this noise in the back, but the joint practices are here tomorrow with the Dolphins coming to town, and they're prettying up the field right now. They've got multiple grounds crew and tractors out here cleaning up everything. So that's the nature of the business when we do this on the road and when we do this from the facility. But yeah, it was another good one, and it was good to be on with my little young pup, man. It was good to be back on with Alan.
I'm glad you think I'm so
back
young.
in studio. Hey, man, when you get to be my age, anything that's 10, 15 years younger than you is young.
That's true.
So, again, appreciate you guys listening to us. If you're in your car right now, again, make sure you get home safely. Once you get home, you can actually watch this on YouTube as well, and you can see Alan in studio, and you'll see me out here sweating where he was making fun of me because it is hot here. And remember, coming up on Thursday, I'll be back in studio, and we will recap everything that we are going to see as far as the joint practices. So as always, my good friends, appreciate you. Take care and have a great evening.